Hey y'all, this is Male Singy, and this is Hoodoo is Political. But today I ain't gonna be talking about politics, and for fucking finally, I'm gonna be talking about some hoodoo. Specifically, I'm gonna be talking about the story of John and the devil's daughter, Lilith. So, I'll start out by saying that all of this happened posthumously. John was killed, and after he was killed, he immediately went to hell. He just lived that type of life. I may get to it at some other point in the show, but that ain't about this now. Okay, so he went to hell, and he was being shown around hell by the devil, as every soul does at that time. And as he was being shown around, he spotted a beautiful woman with pale skin and bright amber eyes and long flowing locks of fire. When I say locks, I just mean hair, not dreadlocks. So he was looking at her, she looking at him, and smiled at him. Listen, my nigga was smitten automatically. And in between his torture shifts, his shifts of being tortured, because it's hell, he would sneak off and find Lilith, and they would flirt, slowly getting to know each other and falling in love. Eventually, John the Conqueror told the devil about his feelings toward his daughter and asked for Lilith's hand. The devil said, hell no. If my daughter is going to be married to anyone, it's going to be a man with some status and power and money, not some slave. I'm sorry, I took myself back with that. I'm like, oh shit. Now, John the Conqueror, he said, I was the prince of the Congo Empire. The devil says, was the prince. You died a fucking slave, not a king. So, he left. But he won't die, because he's John the Conqueror. He asked again, twice now, I want to marry Lilith. Do I have your blessing? The devil says, hell no. Get the fuck out of my face. John the Conqueror argues his case. The devil says, get the fuck out of my face. You can't conquer me, John. And so John leaves. The following day, John comes back and asks once again, thrice now. The devil says, fuck it. You want to marry her so bad? If you can accomplish this simple task, then you can marry Lilith. So, in one day, this field, he snaps, and a 500-acre field just appears in front of them. Sirens, great, love it. A 500-acre field appears in front of them and says, in one day, this field must bear fruit. One half of the day, you must plow the field. And in the last half of the day, you must seed the field. And if crops grow by the next day, you and Lilith can marry. I got my notes down, so let me do that real quick. And it was 444. Don't think I ain't see that. So, John the Conqueror goes to Lilith and explains the situation. Lilith says, my father is very tricky like that. So, I'll help you. She gives him a magical hatchet and a bag of magic seeds. And she says a chant, not in English. It's a light language that can be spoken within the universe in all of the spiritual realms. Plow one line, plow them all. Chop one tree, chop them all. Burn one tree, burn them all. And then she blesses the seeds. She enchants the seeds, rather, because this is hell, ain't much blessing going on. Plant one seed, plant them all. This field will bear fruit. The crops will rise. So, with all that said, the sun sets, the next day comes, the sun rises. John the Conqueror begins his work. Oh yeah. The devil is sitting up in his throne, real happy, real satisfied with himself. He is overseeing John, popping in and out for the first few hours of his work. And John the Conqueror is like, oh man, I gotta plow this field by hand. I don't have no tools. That's so crazy. Oh no. And then the devil leaves. He's like, all right, let's do this. Plow one line, bow, plant them all. Plow them all. Chop one tree, shoo, chop them all. Burn one tree, whoosh, burn them all. And that's all done. Like that. So then, plant one seed. Plant them all. And it's done. The next day, the field is overflowing with crops. Tobacco crops. And the devil looks out at this field of tobacco and is mystified. He's perplexed. How the fuck did this man do this? And John the Conqueror and Lilith are all snuggled up, excited, ready to get married. And the devil realizes what happened. He says, you think you can play me? The devil? You think you can outsmart me? And he tries to attack John the Conqueror. John and Lilith book it. They run as fast as they can. Lilith unzips a hole in the fabric of hell. And they both run through. I gotta switch books now. They escape hell and go to escape in Lilith's favorite place on earth, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, where, in order to hide from the devil, John the Conqueror imbues his powers into the Morning Glory plant. If I know people are wondering, okay, this is a plant of Mexican origin, this is why they were in Mexico when he did this. His powers include intuition, divination, the hoodoo lord of divination, top hoodoo spirit, the gift of gab, and the ability to conquer any struggle that he comes up against, be it a person, a situation, or internal struggle, anything, any struggle. He has the upper hand, and he will win. And those are the powers that he had on Earth during his life. He also acquired the powers from the satchel of seeds and the magic hatchet, which include superhuman strength, superhuman speed, and the ability to create and destroy plant life at will. All it takes is one touch. So, he imbues his powers into that flower, and Lilith and John make a life together in Puerto Vallarta for 30 years. Well, more like 25-ish years. And in that time, he learns the Spanish language. So that means he now knows, listen, my nigga John, he's a genius, an actual genius. He knows Kikongo, Spanish, English, and German. I don't know how he knows German. He's like, that's a whole thing I don't want to get into at the moment. It took the devil one night to find them in Puerto Vallarta. Now, as I've said in previous episodes, well, a previous mini-sode of Hoodoo is Political, one night in the spirit world is 25 to 30 years. Yes. And so when the devil found them, it was in the dead of night. Not a single person was in the city, well, in the town of Puerto Vallarta. And a huge thunderstorm started up. They saw a red glow, and the earth cracked from underneath of them. They went outside and saw billows of smoke. And it opened up into a hole where the devil 1212 rose up out of it. Now, John the Conqueror was terrified. I mean, this is the devil appearing on earth in his actual form. Even I don't know what the devil looked like at the moment. Lilith knew what was going on and ran up to him saying, "Father, we will come back with you. We'll come back with you." And John tugged on her arm like, "I don't want to go back with him." And the devil screamed in a very shrill but booming voice, "What?" And he fell to his knees because the pain of his voice was so bad that it was creeping into his brain. It was like stabbing all the way through his ear canal into his brain. And the devil spoke, "Don't make me drag your asses back with me." And he fell again because the pain was double as bad now. Lilith turned to John and said, "John, it's time. We can't stay here anymore." I will also add that it looks pretty suspicious when you've been living in the same place for 30 years and haven't aged a day. People were getting curious. And he started to cry because he loved this life that they had built together in Mexico. But it was time. He didn't want to leave, but he had to. Lilith says, "John, we have to go back now." So he jumped in the hole to hell because he didn't know that he could just float down with Lilith and the devil. And he died again. Just like that. The devil laughed as his bones and innards were splattered on the ground and reassembled into his physical form. And they were led away into the freezing cold but still fiery ninth circle of hell. to the devil's office. The devil says, I bet you two feel very proud of yourselves for sneaking out of here. But I can see how much you love Lilith, John. So, I want you to work for me. John is in shock. He says, no, I would never work for the devil. I am a God-fearing Christian man. I love God. Now, Lilith is very confused at this point. She says, if you're a God-fearing man, then why are you in hell? The devil says, listen, you were a God-fearing man for your entire time of being enslaved, and you still ended up here. That shit ain't gonna help you. Plus, you'll get to be with Lilith. John takes a second. He looks at Lilith. Lilith looks at him back and smiles. He says to the devil, deal. So, the devil came down from his huge throne behind his huge desk and shook his hand. Now, the devil's hand was so hot that it burnt him on contact. And the devil simply said, make plans, and employed 2 to 3 demons to help them with those plans. Lilith created the venue, well, decided on the venue. John made the plans, architecture, and built it with the assistance of the high-ranking demons in their employ. They invited everybody in hell except for the lost souls because they're a bummer. And it was great. A packed house. Of course, who don't want to see the devil's daughter, Lilith, get married? And Lilith walked down the aisle alone because she wanted to be the center of attention. And John says, I get it. She wants all eyes on her. She looked amazing. She had on a red dress that sparkled like the stars in the sky. It had 2 high slits going up her legs. And she wore black high-heeled boots that set little flames wherever she stepped. And for this occasion, she normally wears her hair up. But this time, she let it flow all the way down. All of those fiery, long, flowing locks of hair. And her dress, her red dress with the high slits, had a train that was longer than her hair. And her hair is very, very long. So, the devil married them, and they exchanged their vows. John the Conqueror says, Lilith, I love you. I ain't felt a love this deep and intense in a long, long time. Ever since I saw you, I knew I wanted you to be mine. And now you are. I love you. Lilith says, John, you are not like any other man I've ever been with. You are strong, masculine, and secure in yourself. And I love that you let me be myself. Other men wanted me to feel shameful about being myself. That was never a problem, but they tried. And I spent a short time on Earth. I would watch from down here or visit different places sometimes, but that wasn't the same as living. In our time in Puerto Vallarta, has meant everything to me. Now we get to have that here, even if it is in hell. I love you so much, John. And they had flaming roses decorating the place, and upon saying their I do's, bats flew out, and it was great because the bats didn't even bite anybody. And that is the story of John and the devil's daughter, Lilith. And as soon as they got married, John the Conqueror dropped the Conqueror and became John to signify his rank in hell as now the supervisor of hell. Basically, he takes care of all of the boring business that the devil don't want to do that comes with being in charge of hell. Processing souls, deciding on punishments, calculating how long people have their time for in hell, and also a bunch of fucking paperwork, 2121, that comes with the bureaucracy of the souls coming in and out, and all of the management of the demons. So, he's no longer John the Conqueror, even though he still be conquering niggas and situations. And he became John. The reason I'm even telling this story is because I was watching a video of John and the devil's daughter, and as I was watching this video, he was pissed. He was so angry, ranting and raving and cussing up a damn storm, and eventually said, "You need to set the record straight. I was a real person who actually existed 2222, and people need to know what this story is about, because it's about me and my wife." So, that's the story. John married Lilith. They are wed. And he went from John the Conqueror to John. So, with that, good day to the good folks. Bad day to the bad folks. Peace.